Better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And now we are back to the after show, Afterthoughts with Kwame S. Salter. Thank you so very, very much for that wonderful hour. My goodness, it went so fast, as I told you it would. It went
It did.
absolutely, yes. And there's so many
It
other
was-
things for us to talk about, but I just wanted to get all of some of the information about how the arts influences and it has an impact in the corporate world. And a lot of people don't really realize that. And for people who control the monies to really realize the need for the arts at an early age, to really incorporate the arts for children. That's what we're talking
Right.
about with this educare. I'm
Right.
gonna look at the screening and see what it's about, but I think it's the implementation of the arts. I think that's really fabulous. But you have so many people in your family that are involved in the arts. Carrie is a
Yes.
model. Your granddaughter Yara is an actress. Yara is an actress, and then Matthew's an actor. Lauren is a singer. I mean, all of this. You said to me one time, you were, you planted the seed. They all
Yes.
descend from you. How do you in your family tree, see how that just kind of it's gotten all the way down to your grandchildren, and all of them, Kevin's
Right.
children,
Right.
are very gifted in the arts and in sports, all of them. What is it? Do you mentor them
It's
orderly?
the environment. It's the environment. If you're surrounded by art, that's what you know. If your sensibilities are influenced by art, that's how you express yourself. Art has the ability to humanize us.
Yes.
It says to us, everybody is a performer. Every day we're performing. In fact, the word personality comes from the Latin word persona, which means mask. And so we all have different masks for different situations. Jay Leno once described politics as show business for ugly people.
Okay.
So what happens is that everybody is performing. And so we look at the real performers and we try to emulate them.
They are. Yeah.
So if you're sitting with your boss, if you're a woman, you might think, well, I want to project myself as so-and-so in the movie, and she did this. I'm going to carry myself that way.
Yes. I'm going to be Halle Berry today. Yes.
Or even when we're dealing with our family and our friends, we put on a mask sometimes, and we're performing.
Yeah.
Every day we're performing.
But there's an influence, though, that you can see the line in the lineage that you've left in your life. And I think it started, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know enough about your grandparents, but I know about your mother, and I've heard enough about your father just to know that lineage of treating people specially and making people feel as they are individuals, and supporting the people in your family. I remember one time you all went to a performance that Lauren had, and your mother sat there and she said, "Is that a recording? Is that?"
You really
Your
asked that?
voice is so wonderful,
Yeah.
How
well, that's a
supportive.
great story. That's a great story because we're in the theater. My mother's talking like she's in her apartment. She's talking loud. And she said, "Oh my God, why don't you put that girl on America's Got Talent or something?" I said, but even as a speaker, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Public speaking is an art form.
Yes, it is. It is.
And I mentioned this in our discussion. Writing for me is
an art form. And all the kinds of, see, a lot of people, they read the books that you've written, but they don't know of your storytelling and your mystery writing.
Right.
That that I've experienced, that I'm trying to turn into radio plays and theatrical productions. That is, your life experience really shows the thread through all of that. You bring it to the art, and then you take the art and you put it in corporate America. And
Right.
so it is invaluable. That's the whole point that I try to make to people,
Mhm.
that it's
Right.
invaluable. It's not just, well, for a lot of people, it is the job description. It is a job. You go to job
Right.
to job to job. The people that I'm interested in talking to is they've taken it one step further beyond themselves. It's bigger than they are.
Well, here's the point. This journey called life is really a play.
Like
And we're all
Shakespeare says,
performers.
yes, yes.
We're
yes.
all performers.
We're all on the stage.
We're all on stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The curtain goes up,
Mm-hmm.
and we're there.
Yeah.
The curtain goes up every morning. When you get up in the morning, the curtain goes up.
Mm-hmm.
You're interacting with a vendor. You're interacting with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You change the way you interact
Exactly.
based on who you're interacting with.
Yes.
I'm not saying you're being fake. It's that
no. But each person, the chemistry changes.
Right.
So you can't be the same with anybody who's the same. My mother used to say, anybody that's the same all the time, you better watch them.
Yes, you gotta watch it.
You know, they bear reason to be watched.
I don't know if it was Ralph Waldo Emerson said that consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I have to say that I am a habitual character. I mean, I think that people could probably clock their watches by some of the things that I do every single day in order to get my day started. But then there's a point in time in my day that becomes very spontaneous. And everything comes, I try to work as things come in. I try not to, to be so habitual in my artistry. But there are things that I need to be habitual in my personal life to get things done, to make sure the house functions, to make sure the office is set up so that I can take.
But if somebody comes into your house, and you have to adjust to that individual's personality or presence.
Yes, you do.
This is where people don't realize they become performers.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah, because
you are outside of your norm. Then you're one way when a service person comes in your house. You're another way when you go into the office and you have to deal with somebody who might be your superior.
Right.
Each person, you are another way, much more familiar when you talk to people that you've known most of your life. Your whole jogging and the rhythm changes.
Right.
So each one of us, it's like I say to people all the time, I said, people go, oh, I can't sing. I said, everybody sings. You sing a little bit in church, you sing to the radio. There are not a lot of people who can make a living at it.
That's right.
But everybody can sing a little bit. And everybody acts a little bit.
Right.
And if we realize how important that is, go.
The larger stage is life.
Mm-hmm.
The stages you work on is a microcosm of life. And when you walk off that stage, you know that you are in character or out of character.
Mm-hmm.
You always know when you're in character.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in character when you're dealing with people who you know and you're authentic with. You're in character right there.
Exactly.
There are other people you don't have time to expose to them who you really are.
Exactly. But so, you make that discretion. You have the right to make that difference. You decide who gets your time.
And you have to
correct you want to disseminate that time without those people. And that took years for me to understand, though. Really, it did.
So there are times when you have to say to people when you're talking to them, ho, you got, it's what Carl always said, you got me mixed up with somebody.
Yes.
So
Carl would say that. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe that's my performance. Maybe I need to adjust my performance with you because whatever you're picking up is not what I'm sending out.
Exactly. Okay? Yeah.
So this is where you become a Broadway stage actress in real life. You're going, whoa. Mm-hmm. You have really misread me.
Yes. Well, I think also in the arts, the positive about the arts is that the art imitates life imitates art, and that's a wonderful gift. There's some people who never come out of character.
Right.
They're always on, and you never get a chance to really find out who they are. You never really experience them until They're not here anymore. And you read a
Right.
lot of things about them.
Right.
You go, oh, I
But
didn't
they're
know.
not listening. They're just going through life playing this character.
Yes.
And they're not making adjustments
no,
in terms of
no,
the people. They see
no.
life
Everybody's
is a
just,
stage.
everybody's just, I'm on for everybody. I'm on for everybody, you know.
Right. Yeah. And
And that's the disadvantage. Like, yeah, and again, the disadvantage that we talked about is this whole Silicon Valley thing. I keep on going back to it, but I'm amazed at it, because I do know a couple of people who have taken jobs there.
Right.
And I think that, you know, and I'm saying to myself, well, is this cosmetic? Are they really, you know, firing people and hiring other people in this phase of time that we have, in this diversity time that we have, that satisfy their needs, but are they really going to make any progression? You know,
No.
in the article.
I'll give you the short answer. No. This is a delaying tactic. This is basically just giving you what they think you want. I mean, they're running it just like a sitcom. You know, how long will this play? If this doesn't play out, we got another sitcom to play with.
Yes.
So, but you know, people use the term acting in a very negative way. Oh, he's acting. And no, he's expressing himself in a manner unique to the situation that they're in. They're not. It's not. It's almost pejorative to say they're acting. It's like they're lying. No.
Yes.
I can't interact. I wouldn't interact with another interviewer the way I interact with you.
No.
So I'm not acting.
Yeah, there are the chemistry is, as I listen to you,
Right.
you know, talk to Joe Madison, you know, there's a difference. Also, two men talking is different from a man and a woman talking. And you know, and my knowing your family, knowing the people that I'm talking about, really having those personal experiences really makes a difference. I mean, I didn't get the chance to even say on air, you know, my first meeting with you was, I believe you saw me on stage before you met me.
Yeah, I did.
And then you were at the wedding before we knew it.
Right. And then when we came back to visit,
heard about you. Then you had flown in, saw the show, and then you were at the wedding.
Right. And then, you know, after that, after we got to know each other, you took us down to a play in New York, me and Phyllis, and
yes. Yes. Oh.
And you know, Phyllis loves the theater, so it was great. And it was a great little production. I'm trying to think of.
I'm trying to think of what was that? I remember because I bumped into Dwight Cook, who was a wonderful stage man, who's a wonderful stage manager and director now, but we had done voices together. And I was stumbled because I was so I couldn't remember Dwight's name, and we were walking down the street, and I went but of course Dwight Cook. But I'm trying to think what did
it was a great little play. I'm trying to think of the play itself.
And I think it was on Theater Row. That's why, because we were in that area. It was in Theater Row that I took you.
And you knew some of the actors in there.
Yep.
Yeah. And in fact, we met one after the show.
I can't think of. See, too many plays.
Oh yeah. Too many moons.
Yeah, too many levels. Again, somebody will maybe remember that and write in. Last week, I couldn't remember something somebody gave us the answer.
I think of the play.
Okay.
But yeah, this discussion about art is so all-consuming. It's hard to pull it out and talk about it as though it's a freestanding something. It has permeated our lives.
Exactly. Inclusive in everything. That's
to the
why
extent, like
it's
I said,
so important that it's so important that we keep it going. People tell me all the time, oh, when I was in school, I had art, you know, and classes every day. And I'm in a community where that exists in this community where I live. But when I go outside of that community where I am in the underserved areas, you know, there are children who get art once a month. Or if they get art once a week for an hour. And that's,
here's the problem.
And you know,
here's a challenge, Lynn. There's no way you can block art. There's no way you can stop art.
No, you can't stop it. But some people don't. get the full utilization of it. That's
Right.
the sadness of it. There are people
And they're surrounded by art.
who are underserved, who are not going to really get the proper, I believe, opportunities, because those opportunities aren't presented to them.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example.
Yeah.
Some of the hip hop lyrics, I'm not going to say all hip hop.
Yeah.
It influences these young people.
Yeah.
In a negative way.
Yes.
Because they don't understand the breadth of music.
No.
They think this genre is the only music out there.
Well, every generation says that about the next generation. And I understand that, because my parents said, you all don't know what music is, because when we had Nat King Cole, that's who could sing. And now,
right.
But I thought, well, Luther Vandross could sing though also.
All right. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
But you see, but now when I listen to the rap, and I try to listen to something so that I could not be totally ignorant of it,
right.
I don't hear the melodic tones. I don't hear what I want to hear.
It's formulaic. It's formulaic. It's a formula.
Yeah.
It's a formula. And so therefore it's not creative. It's dead on arrival. It's DOA.
Yeah. Well, it's manufactured.
Right.
There's nothing instinctive about it.
Right.
It's descriptive, because people use the names that they call whatever people or whatever situation, there is no homage to any kind of relationships that are healthy in it.
Right.
And I just, I don't want to be disparaging against it. What I want young people to do is come and explain to me what it is. I had a conversation with my group not too long ago. And one of the conversations was they were trying to explain to me some of what the organic rap music was. It still does exist in a small group of people. And then the commercial rap music, and how people, were taken out of their organic form, paid a lot of money to be certain something else, and how there are some people who won't take those offers. They don't want the money. They're talking about issues. They're talking about relationships, but they're not distributed. We can't hear it because they're not.
We're not going to disparage the genre.
No,
because early on it was a very important contribution to Black art.
Yes.
Because what it did was it took the person on the block who became the reporter and told us what was going on. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Right, exactly. Yes.
I'm just trying not to lose my head.
Exactly.
Okay. Makes me want to wonder how I keep them going under.
Yeah.
You think about those early rap songs.
Yeah.
Where they were reporting the condition in the community and the resilience that we had.
Exactly.
Okay. So
but the evolution of it started in a different direction, because it
goes back to what we said. The script for being the Negro was written by white people. And so they got a script already. And they said, there's a scene in one of Chris Rock's movie where this producer is saying, hey, read the lines and tell me what you think. And so he reads the line, and Chris says, so was that okay? He said, hey, could you put a little more stink on it? A little more stink. You remember that scene?
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that.
And Chris Rock said, stink? Yeah, make it a little blacker. And then Chris Rock said, okay, MF. He just started cursing. And the guy said, no, I didn't mean to go that far.
Yeah.
Okay. But the point is this: they have in their minds a script, a role, a cast role for Black people.
But what about the Black writers who are doing it also? Now, the other night I was privy to a reading where I heard a Black writer write in a dialect.
Right. Well, it works. It sells. So, if you're going to be a successful rap artist, you're not going to make it until you get at least 40% of your audience being white. So you're playing not to Black people. We're looking in, but you're making your money off people who say, oh yeah, that's how I think of Black people. And that's why, you had this group of young people back 10, 15 years ago, they call them wiggers, white niggers. Okay. So they felt because they listened to the music, hey nigga, what's going on, nigga? Okay, because they had been told, hey, it's okay now. They call themselves nigger. You can do it. So the point I'm making is that we're so influenced by these things, and our young people are so influenced by it. I don't want to trash hip hop. I want to say, are we playing a role, or are we expressing who we are? Sometimes we don't know that we're playing a role because the role has been written consistently so long, so well. And that's why that piece in Chris Rock's movie was so classic.
Yeah.
Put a little stink on it.
Yeah.
He's going to tell Chris Rock how to be Black.
Well, and it is, and the reason why he put it in there is because it is what is done in auditions in our business, where you go in and, I mean, I've been told, well, Lynnie's articulation, she doesn't talk like a Black person.
Right.
Well, there's nobody else. I am nothing but a Black person. Here I am.
You didn't put enough stink on it.
No. I left the stink out.
Yeah, and you didn't pop your fingers and
I didn't do the chicken neck. And yes, I
See, because that's the role that's been written for us. And what we have to understand is that we cannot allow people to write a role for us and we play it.
Yes,
we have to write our own role.
And that's one of the messages I think that has to. It still has to ring clear for people. I don't think that people know how important that is, just to understand that. Not everybody has to understand it. The people who are writing it, the people who have ideas for who we are supposed to be, those of us who think, well, I'm comfortable doing this. This is what I'm comfortable. I have wonderful, talented friends who are very comfortable doing those stereotypical things. I don't say anything.
Because it's the money.
Yeah, well, it's always
in this society that justifies it. I got paid for it, but did you get paid for it, or did you pay for it?
Oh, well, there is a whole nother subject for conversation. You see?
Oh yeah.
Because it's a sensitive area, because when you criticize people think, oh, well, you're a hater, not really. I mean, life is wonderful.
Well, think about
personally what my life is. It's not one where I would be envious of anybody, of anything. So, it's just that you want the best for these people. You want them to have the opportunities to show the range and the arc of their work beyond what people think that they can do. And you want them to recognize that. And you want the people creating those arcs that are limited to realize that there's more of us that can happen.
Well, here's the problem.
I always say, don't get mad at the actor, get mad at the person who wrote the script, and get mad at the person who greenlighted the project. These are the things that if you come to me and you're upset about something, don't talk to me about it. I'm not in a position to take it off the air. To the people who put it on the air.
It's a mentality that we have to fight. The mentality is that our culture can be appropriated. That that people just take our culture and ignore our contributions, but take the culture.
Yes.
For example, Pat Boone made a fabulous living off of covering all Black songs. It got so bad that even though they loved the song, they couldn't come to the realization that a Black person did it. So all of Nat King Cole's albums in South Africa had a white woman on it, or a picture of a white person.
Well, the Isley Brothers talk about how they had to have balloons and everything else on their albums at the very beginning. That you don't see them until I think the third or fourth album. I've got early, when I was a teenager, I belonged to the Columbia Record Club or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and you get these albums and there's not a picture of them. I mean, I knew who they were.
Right.
but there's no picture of him. And I didn't even
Right.
think about it like that, but that's how they could sell it
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah, we don't want to see you all.
No.
We want you to be invisible.
Yeah.
And I'm saying we have been marginalized, which is probably one of the worst things that happened as a result of this institution. We're so marginalized. We can never bring our whole self to anything. We have to bring all these images and stereotypes that cut through. I'll give you an example of how arts influence things. I met the chancellor at UW-Madison 25 years ago, and she's a woman in politics now. And so I go in to meet her, and she starts giving me what she thought was a black handshake. And I'm standing there looking at her, and she's, moving her hand and her fist. And I just stood there with my hand out and just to shake her hand. And so my buddy with me said, "Why'd you do that?" I said, "Because she made an assumption based on what she had seen that all black people shake hands that way. And now there are people I shake hands with that way because I know them, but I don't know you. This is a business interaction."
Yeah.
But you're going to send me the message. Oh, I understand. Yeah, what you understand is the script and the role that has been written that we play. I don't play those roles. Okay? I don't play that role. So I'm going to throw you for a loop. You're going to have to go back to your sources and say, where does this type of guy come in? Why don't we see him on TV?
Yes.
Why don't we see
those are the questions I think hopefully down the line that programs like this and people who have questions will make people say, well, when are we going to see something else now? Because we've seen all of that.
Lynnie, when do we normalize our life experience?
Well,
See,
I think that there are programs that do that. I don't think that they get green lighted. No,
right.
I think that there's some wonderful writers who are writing now. I used to 10, 15 years ago, I thought there are no more writers writing good things. Then I started asking writers, can you send me something, to let me, and I started getting these wonderful scripts, but they would never be in the agent's office. And the agents, there wasn't an interest in them because they couldn't sell them because there wasn't the idea of the people who would greenlight. So I think until we get to a position where we in mentality that we can greenlight those kinds of normalized, when we're not either the monster or the superstar, as we,
subhuman
talked about,
or superhuman,
superhumans or
subhuman,
or subhuman, or subhuman.
Yeah. No in between.
There's no in between. There's no, and you can see in between all day long, every channel, everywhere else. Everybody's just normally going in and out of the houses and having a certain situation and dealing with that certain situation with a level of intelligence and silliness. Okay.
Well, and also what happens is that they are allowed to live their lives not by a script somebody wrote. They're allowed to have their own individual expression.
Yeah.
We're constantly fighting these stereotypes that people have created. Now, I'll tell you something about stereotypes. If there's a stereotype, there's somebody who exists that looks like that.
Exactly. There's stereotype for a reason. Yes, I agree.
But
I agree totally. Yes.
But you don't paint with such a broad brushstroke. Most of our days, we're confronted with what a friend of mine, Dr. Daryl Wing Sue, calls microaggressions. The little put down. I'll give you an example of microaggression. It happened in corporate. This woman came to me and said, my boss just asked me, I went to HBCU and he asked me, was it accredited? Now, he would say, that wasn't racist. I was just wondering. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't ask if I said I went to Purdue, was that accredited?
Accredited, no.
So we've been fighting this script, this role that's been written for us. This is what we're fighting. We have to displace that and bring in our own life experiences. I'm not saying they're not good writers, but what they're up against is they're just like we're trying to boil the ocean with one person.
With one person. I understand. I think it's a process, and I hope in my lifetime, I do see some progress. I know that there will be some people who will never agree with me on that, and I'm fine with that. I
Well,
really am, you
I
know.
was talking to the new chancellor in my undergraduate university. He's Black, and he wanted to talk to me, and so we were on a WebEx. And he opened up by saying, "Man, is it possible that I can get your granddaughter here to do a commencement speech?" I said, "Oh, my granddaughter?
Oh,
Yeah, Yara." He said, "I have never seen such a young person who can articulate the issues and stays consistent with who she is."
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I said, that's above my pay grade. I can't guarantee you delivering Yara. She's gone.
Yeah.
She's in the stratosphere right now. But it was interesting because he was looking to bring an artist in to talk. She's a performing artist.
Yes.
And so, but where she's gained her greatest following is in her authenticity
And the
and
articulation that she has.
the
Yes.
articulation of the
Mhm.
issues.
Mhm.
He
Yes.
was he asked the same question you asked. How did that happen? I said, it's the family. That's like the Kennedys talked about politics.
Yep. Exactly.
We talked about social awareness.
Yes. Yes.
That's what we
And
talked
so
about.
it becomes in your cells, and that's what I want people to hear. And that
Right.
if you do that, if you make the arts a part of your life,
Right.
it was in my family. We
Right.
talked about all those, like I said, 3 years old, I
Right.
said to people, I'm going to college. I didn't even know what college was.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
it's through osmosis. My
Right.
parents were really determined that would happen, because for them, that was the answer for me, not to live the life they had to live, but to
Well,
live.
my
Yeah.
father always referred to it as the 13th grade. Oh yeah, he's going to the 13th grade.
Yeah.
So, but I'll give you an example of art. When I got the job at in Chicago and I was still living in Madison, I had to commute on the weekends. My companions driving that 200 miles were artists. I listened to music
Mm-hmm.
all the time. That's what carried me through.
Mm-hmm.
I remember listening to Desiree. Remember Desiree?
Yes, I remember this. Yes. Yes, that's right.
You read the books your father read.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen to what your mother said.
Yeah.
All those things helped me stay strong, and it was a very
It's
trying time.
grounding. It
Yeah.
kept you grounded. It's the
Right.
important thing about, any kind of advancement or success is that it's not only not forgetting where you came from, but being in the moment and being grounded in your own genuineness and
Right.
reality, and
Right.
not letting anybody distract you about what their evaluation
Right.
of who you are. Oh, you're the
Right.
greatest thing in the world. You want to go, listen, I'm just here
Right.
doing this job. Thank you very much.
I remember listening to Bob Marley when I'd have to go and confront some racist thing. I remember his song, "Get Up, Stand Up for Your Right."
I remember that song. Yes.
And I just was emboldened by it.
Mhm.
So when I walked into the building, this song is in my head. It's the soundtrack.
Mhm.
Stand up, get up, stand up for your rights.
Mhm.
And then there's other ones. I shot the sheriff. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But if you listen to that whole song, he's saying the sheriff was hassling me. And he was trying to shoot me.
Mhm.
I shot him first.
Mhm.
But remember in the song, there's a great line that said, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy.
Deputy. You
So,
understand. You
yeah,
understand.
I understand.
Well,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
We can go on forever,
Yeah.
forever, forever. And I will have another round of this and
Okay.
try to do really bring in another aspect of the arts in a different
Right.
way.
Right.
I think that you've been absolutely wonderful this evening.
Well, I'm just sharing what I know and what I feel. But yeah, my life is so influenced by the arts. It's hard for me to separate.
Well,
That's why I'm
you're
attracted.
preaching to the choir now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's why I'm attracted to the artists. That's why I always enjoyed talking to you, because you're so well rounded. You have to be. You have to understand that what's going on in society. You have to, because if you're
yeah,
going to play a part, it's not just reading the lines.
No.
Remember I said it's about the sincerity.
Exactly. Well, Lloyd Richards used to say the good actor. And, and what he would mean in class is that it's that actor who would be able to not only read the audition papers, but the New York Times.
Right.
Or get on the subway and not stick your head in a book, but observe, because those people that you're observing, you might be asked in class to do an improv about.
Right.
And that's, spontaneousness. It's a good actor. It's just being a good actor.
Yeah, but this is a good topic, and it bears being revisited at some point, because people don't understand, because like I said, a fish is last to be aware of the presence of water. Mm-hmm. We're last to be aware of the presence of the arts, but the arts are all around us.
Yeah.
And I gave the examples in corporate. Who would have thought commercials? Who would have thought advertising? Who would have thought these things? These are art. They become art.
I think people don't realize it happens in front of us. And I am going to end this up. Okay. I am, everyone. But until Soul Train came on, we never saw our hair products and skin products on a commercial. We would go to the store and get them in certain communities, but we actually saw them. And then there was evidence by other people who looked at this show that didn't look like us, that we had something that was particularly ours, that was diversity of our own selves. And that then gave us an equality to say, I know how you do your hair. Now you can learn how I do mine.
If you're interested.
If you're interested.
If you're not, that's fine.
Yeah.
See? But thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, King.
Thank you, Queen. We'll be in touch.
All right. We'll see.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.